You do not want to be immortal. Unless you want to watch everyone you know and love slowly disappear until you're completely alone, you do not want to be immortal. If there's one thing we can learn from stories like To Your Eternity, Jigokuraku, and Freyren, it's that immortality is a curse, not a gift.
10 years with him wasn't nearly enough time to learn. I was aware that human lives are short, but this... Why didn't I try to better know and understand you?
Stories about immortals are always fascinating, and as I was trying to find more stories that were similarly about immortals, I was drawing a ton of blanks. That is, until I remembered this classic.
お前の過ちはなんだこれは。お前の血で埋めてやろう。助けろ。
Noblesse, while the anime was butchered just like God of High School, and for some reason everything Crunchyroll touches, is such an awesome manhwa that features long-lived beings with insane supernatural powers, commonly referred to as noblesse. They are basically even more powerful vampires, but they don't suck blood. The universe is rife with secret organizations, secret experiments, magic, dark magic, werewolves, and for some reason, the Dr. Frankenstein is like a crazy dark magician with insane powers.
お前たちのすべては私から始まったのだ。
どういうことだ。
話はここまでだ。消え去れ。
The plot is extremely well paced, and it's a well balanced power fantasy, and it really got me thinking about manga and manhwa that explore immortality. For an overview of what types of immortals there are, just go check out this video. Spoilers for the video, but to briefly summarize, immortals are all basically the same sort of character and personality, just along different points of a timeline, where as time passes, the immortal essentially gets more and more cynical and jaded until they become a full-blown psycho. Freyren, for example, would be classified as a textbook immortal, an immortal who has kind of been everywhere and seen everything and has a large amount of skills, experiences, and knowledge. Immo from To Your Eternity would be classified as an immature immortal, wielding their power with the mental maturity of a child. These immortals are often bad guys, but To You is a rare and wonderful contrast. Rai from Noblesse would be considered a lonely immortal, and after being in a coffin for a long time, and alone even longer, Rai does his best to protect his friends and his peaceful school life while getting in touch with his more human side. The immortals from Jigokuraku are classic paranoid immortals. Immortals who fear death even more now that they have achieved immortality. Lo and behold,
beautiful. A man prepared to die, trapped between life and death. I could never attain such perfect yin and yang. If only I could show this to Rien. I've waited 1,000 years. Thank you.
Immortals are fascinating creatures and fun explorations of the human psyche. So here are some stories that feature immortals. The first one is the Epic of Gilgamesh, and before you ask, it's not a manga about the actual Epic of Gilgamesh and his quest for immortality, but it features an immortal. It follows the story of a nameless old man and a knight in training named Trudia. While trying to rescue the old man from some vagrants, Trudia ends up in trouble herself. The old man's head is cut off, and when Trudia is about to face a similar fate, his head somehow instantly regenerates, and the old man stops the fatal blow. After saving Trudia, it is revealed that Trudia has a fatal illness. The old man, who can only vaguely remember his past, and the apprentice knight set forth on a journey to cure Trudia's illness by gathering the immortals' sealed memories and skills from across the land. The story is well paced, and the art is great and all, but my favorite part about it are all of the knights. They make it so clear that no one that is not a knight can compete with the level of skill and power that a true knight possesses. So no amount of shonen yelling and trying real hard will allow you to actually trump over a knight, unless you are one. Their weaknesses are interestingly built into their oaths, as in the manhwa it's explained that each knight, when they don the title, must swear an oath, a gias, a restriction that binds their power. Perhaps the knight can only use their special abilities when their back is to the sun. Maybe you swear to never harm anyone who has not spoken back to you. Or maybe even the knight needs a specific individual's explicit permission in order to use their abilities. The abilities of the knights and their restrictions create such compelling combinations. The next manga I would recommend is Fire Punch. In a world where some people are born with special abilities and are referred to as the Blessed, one such individual has frozen over the world. She is known only as the Ice Witch. A village rescues our protagonists, Agni and Luna, two children who end up having the ability to regenerate. Through the cold winters when food is low, Agni offers to cut off his arm to help feed the villagers, as it will easily regenerate. This becomes a regular offering until another Blessed appears in the village. After finding out that he was fed human flesh, he burns down the village, disgusted. Luna, whose regenerative ability is unable to keep up with the flames, dies, but Agni lives, smoldering in the snow. It takes years for him to move again, to harness his regeneration, but when he does, he gets up, still on fire, and begins to walk in order to seek revenge on the man who burned down his village. It's a pretty cut and dry revenge story, but don't let the simple premise sway you. It genuinely has deeper explorations in it, and it takes your moral compass for a spin. The last story is possibly one of my favorite stories about immortals ever, and is one of the first manhwa I've read in the more modern vertical style. Magician follows the story of, well, a magician, a magician named Ethermask, a renowned magician known to be a walking calamity. Our protagonists, two mischievous children named Irami and Enzu, hear that he is on his way to their local village and plan to ambush him. Despite their exceptional capabilities for their age, it ends up in vain as Ethermask fends them off easily. Despite his cruel and destructive reputation, he spares the kids and makes his way to the village. When they get there, they find that Enzu's father has been killed by another magician. This man's name is Ethan. Ethermask protects the village and the kids, but Ethan summons a strange eye, and after saying that he accomplished his mission, he leaves without further violence. Enzu leaves the village to tag alongside Ethermask so that he can grow stronger and seek his revenge on Ethan, while Irami follows in order to see the world and more magic. It's a great adventure, and is so satisfying to see the main characters quite literally grow up and get more and more powerful and learn more and more about Ethermask's past. It has a wonderful art style too that only gets better as it progresses, and Enzu and Irami along with Ethermask are all made out to be prodigious and OP in their own way, and I never feel like it compromises on the stakes or tension of the story in doing so. One of my favorites of all time for sure. I don't know what comes after death, but I do know one thing: immortality sucks.
I guess you can't answer me, can you? No, of course not. Why am I such a fool? I've just been talking to myself this whole time! Damn it! Damn it!